Okay guys, so this is the new Ascent frame, the 3-inch version from FlexRC, and as you can see here I have a RunCam Split in here, and this frame is designed for the RunCam Split, so you can get some HD recording from a 3-inch frame here. And I'll just go over quickly how this was put together. This is fairly straightforward stuff here, so just do a quick build overview. And the parts I put in here, obviously got the RunCam Split going on at the top section here. I'm using the VTX 03 for my video transmitter, and the antenna's popped out the top there. My receiver is the FlySky FS-A8S, and I just have the antenna sticking out on the zip tie here, and the receiver is just kind of in the back and zip tied to the TPU printed canopy. I printed this myself. It didn't come with the kit. I don't think it's up on Thingiverse yet, but I'll put a link in the description when it does come out. I think Dimitri's still working on that, and we're still figuring out how to get this right. The hole here is for a buzzer, but I kind of told him we should probably put the buzzer back here somewhere instead of in the front, because I didn't have any buzzers left. I ran out, so that's why there's a nice little hole there, which looks really ugly. But I think it'll be moved in a later version. In any event, the ESCs here are the Racer Star 20 amp 4-in-1 Bielheli S, the V2s, and so pretty inexpensive. I think they're like $25. I'm using the Emax RS1306 4000 kV motors. I'm using these 3030 by 4 HQ props, and the flight controller is just an Omnibus F3 flight controller. Nothing special there. So pretty basic stack here. The thing is, I soft mounted everything here, so I didn't soft mount the motors. So you can see that I've got a soft mount there. It's a little TPU soft mount for the whole flight stack. The soft mount is underneath the ESCs, so there's vibration dampening between the frame and the ESCs, and I have a nylon screw that goes all the way up through here to this top screw here. So I got that, and I got a little nylon standoff here, or a little spacer. So and also in between the ESC and the flight controller is another TPU spacer. So it's all spacers and a long screw. So this whole stack is vibration dampened, so there's no oscillations or anything from vibrations. It actually flies really well. And you can see here that the frame has quite a bit of space to the top, so I tried to really keep this as low profile as possible. I probably could have gone a little bit higher. You can see I probably have about a good, I'd say like 12 millimeters between the top of the RunCam Split and the frame here. So, there's enough space in this frame if you need to put actual nylon spacers in here instead of the way I built it. So, because if you use nylon spacers, the stack is going to be a lot taller. And I got my little power lead coming on here, zip tied to the arm. Just using an XT30 and not an XT60 because I decided to try and fly this on 3S, and I'm using a couple different batteries in the flight demo, and I'll explain that in a second here. Now, because of the power requirements of the RunCam Split, if you're gonna build it the way I did, you're gonna need to use a 5-volt regulator, and you can't really see it, but it's right there. And so I have a 5-volt regulator powered directly off of the battery lead here, and then that powers the RunCam Split, and it powers the video transmitter. So the one I'm using is a 5-volt 1 amp, because the Split will draw about 600 milliamps, and the VTX 03 draws about 300 milliamps. So the power, or I'm sorry, the BEC that's on the Omnibus F3, I think it's only up to 1 amp, but if you include the receiver and the OSD, you're going to overdraw that and it'll brown out. So you definitely want to use a 5-volt regulator there. The only thing that's powered off of the BEC on the flight controller is the receiver. So no issues with brownouts the way I set it up, and it just, the 5-volt regulator just tucks in nicely underneath there. You can't even see it. It's kind of like right next to the board right there. So there's a good little space there for that if you need a space for that. And I'll put a link into the description of where I got that. It's a micro-sized one I got from my RC Mart. Okay, a couple of measurements here on the frame itself. I believe it's a 3mm bottom plate. That's exactly 3 millimeters. And the two side plates here are 2 millimeters each, so it's going to be pretty sturdy in crashes. Obviously, if you crash it from 100 feet up into concrete, it's probably not going to survive. Okay, so I set this up with an XT30. I probably should have done an XT60, but I don't really have any good XT60 batteries that are 3S. They're all JST and they kind of suck. I decided to fly with these two 3S batteries here. This one's from GNB and this one is from XF Power. And I did the first flight with this one. The internal resistance in this battery is pretty high compared to the GNB. I believe this is in the 30 to 40 range and this one's in the 15 to 25 range. And you can obviously tell the difference in the flight itself. It's more power from this battery here instead of this one. So yeah, I'm going to be including battery comparisons inside the videos for various things, various models that I put out. And so if you're looking for battery comparisons, they're going to be in the videos, embedded in the videos, not as separate videos, just to let you know for the future. Now even with this pretty good 3S battery here, the power is good. I'd say it's not great. Obviously, I think that for this setup here, I'd probably go 4S. So I'm going to be looking for some 4S like GNB batteries, and I would say that 550 is probably the lowest milliamp hour rating you want to go to. You probably want to go somewhere in the 650 to 700 range. You probably could go as high as 800, but the battery is kind of heavy. I mean, overall the quad is on the beefy side with the RunCam Split in here. So let me just give you a weight measurement of this. Okay, so it comes in about 145.5 grams with the RunCam Split. So obviously, you know, it's not the lightest in the world, but you know, you do get onboard HD video recordings, so there's a trade-off there. And I think that, yeah, you can fly this on 3S and still do flips and rolls and stuff like that, but I would probably go to 4S on this, and I'll be looking for a 4S battery to fly this pretty soon. So I did flash Betaflight 3.2 on this board, and the latest BL Heli, I think 16.67, the one with the D-Shock command, so I can do the turtle mode and anti-crash flipping and stuff like that. I'm not going to go through the whole setup video part on the Betaflight configuration. I'm just going to give you a CLI dump in the description. I'll have two videos in the corner here. You can click on those cards to do the if you want to know how to do flashing of Betaflight 3.2 and also how to flash your BL Heli SESCs. Videos on those, and then you can just copy my settings if you wanted to see the settings I used to fly this. The PIDs will be in the CLI dump as well. I don't remember the PIDs offhand, but I think they're pretty close to the default PIDs in Betaflight 3.2. Pretty smooth so far. This battery doesn't seem to have much power though. We've been trying out these new XF 3S 550s. I can tell the power is pretty limited. It's fairly quiet on these four-bladed HQ props. All right, let's go and fly it a little bit here.